In episode 10 of Sheriff Country, the show has a real opportunity to do something meaningful that connects its story back to its roots in Fire Country, and that's finally reuniting Bode and Skye in a way that actually pays off the emotional groundwork that was laid before. If this spin-off wants to prove it's more than just a procedural with a familiar backdrop, bringing Bode and Skye back together isn't just fan service. It's narrative responsibility. From the beginning, Bode Donovan was written as someone constantly trying to outrun his past while still being emotionally tethered to it. His relationships were never just romantic side plots. They were reflections of where he was mentally and morally. And Skye represented something different from the chaos that tends to follow him. She wasn't just another love interest. She symbolized stability, possibility, and the version of Bode that could exist if he truly committed to change. On the other hand, Skye was never portrayed as naive. She understood Bode's baggage. She saw his flaws clearly. What made their dynamic compelling wasn't fantasy, it was tension. There was always that question, can someone like Bode actually build something healthy, or is he destined to self-sabotage? That unresolved tension is exactly why episode 1 by 10 of Sheriff Country feels like the right time to revisit them. Spin-offs often struggle with emotional continuity. They introduce new stakes, new characters, and new conflicts, but sometimes they forget that audiences followed them from somewhere else. Sheriff Country exists because of the world built in Fire Country. Ignoring Bode and Skye's unresolved arc would feel like leaving emotional currency on the table. Reuniting them, even temporarily, would ground the spin-off in something personal. Episode 1 by 10 especially feels like a structural midpoint. It's late enough in the season that character arcs should be escalating, not resetting. If Bode appears in this episode in any meaningful capacity, having Skye involved would raise the stakes instantly. Not in a melodramatic way. Not with forced declarations of love. But through honest conversation. Accountability. Growth. That's the payoff fans are actually waiting for. The key here is payoff, not nostalgia. If the reunion is just a quick cameo or a surface-level interaction, it won't work. It needs to address what separated them in the first place. Did Bode choose his path over her? Did Skye step away because she needed stability? These questions deserve dialogue, not subtext. One strong scene between them could carry more emotional weight than an entire subplot filled with new characters. There's also something bigger at stake for Sheriff Country itself. Spin-offs survive when they honor the emotional DNA of the original while carving out their own identity. Bringing Bode and Skye back together, even if it's messy, reinforces that this universe is interconnected. It reminds viewers that actions in one show ripple into another. That kind of continuity builds loyalty. And let's be honest, viewers are invested in Bode's personal growth. If he's still repeating the same patterns without reflection, that becomes frustrating. A reunion with Skye could serve as a mirror. She can challenge him in ways others can't. She knows who he was before redemption became his goal. If he's truly changed, she should be able to see it. If he hasn't, that tension becomes drama rooted in character, not plot contrivance. Another important angle is Skye herself. Too often, female characters in these universes exist as emotional catalysts for male leads. Reuniting them only works if Skye has agency. Maybe she's moved on. Maybe she's stronger. Maybe she doesn't automatically welcome Bode back into her life. That resistance would make any eventual reconciliation feel earned instead of predictable. If Sheriff Country wants episode 1 by 10 to resonate beyond procedural stakes, it needs a human anchor. Fires, crimes, and investigations provide action, but relationships provide memory. People don't rewatch shows for case-of-the-week plots. They rewatch for character moments. A reunion scene, layered, honest, unresolved, could become one of those defining moments. There's also thematic symmetry here. Fire Country was always about second chances, not just legally, but emotionally. Bode fighting for redemption in his career, while ignoring unfinished business in his personal life, would feel incomplete. Skye represents that unfinished business. Facing her would mean facing who he used to be, and deciding whether he's truly different now. Of course, a reunion doesn't automatically mean a happy ending. In fact, it might be stronger if it doesn't. The real payoff could be closure rather than rekindling. But avoiding the conversation altogether would feel like narrative avoidance. Episode 1/10 has the space to address it. It's the kind of episode where emotional arcs should pivot. If the writers lean into this, they can deepen both shows at once. If they ignore it, they risk making Bode's journey feel compartmentalized, as if relationships only matter when convenient. That's not how real growth works, and it's not how compelling storytelling works either. At this point in the season, Sheriff Country needs a defining emotional moment. Reuniting Bode and Skye thoughtfully, deliberately, without shortcuts, could be exactly that. Not because fans want a ship, not because nostalgia sells, but because unresolved arcs deserve resolution. And if this universe is truly interconnected, then its relationship should be too.